Hello and welcome to Off the Post, a football YouTube channel dedicated to match reactions, tier lists, and discussing your specific football clubs and specific topics around football as well. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff. It'd be very much appreciated in the long run on my YouTube channel, helping out with the algorithm and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, some of you might have seen my face here and there before. I did a podcast with one of my friends at uni, Matt Haldane. So yeah, but yeah, that's sort of come to an end now. It was a mutual decision in the end, and it's not really my usual setup. Some might say. Some might be thinking, what on earth was that wallpaper? I'm thinking the same thing. Okay, yeah, I didn't choose it, my mum did, so I didn't really have a say in that. So you have to put up with it, I suppose. But yeah, I'm mostly going to record from my bedroom here on out for the next 4 months at least, because I've sort of finished uni now. But when I go back in my third year, I'll probably be in my old setup like I did in the podcast, in the radio room. So yeah, I think that's enough housekeeping. Obviously, like, comment, and subscribe, very much appreciated. But let's get into our first episode. It's talking about Newcastle's win against Manchester United. Newcastle winning 4-1 against Man United. What on earth is that? Now, don't get me wrong, you probably would expect that, because Man United this season, they have not been great at all. And for the last 8 years, since Sir Alex Ferguson, they haven't been good, have they? Honestly. But Newcastle, right, they're hard to stop they're hard to stop this season. Obviously, recently winning the Carabao Cup, like, they're a team hard to beat at the moment, okay? Let me tell you one thing for sure. Sandro Tonali, for that first goal, that was exceptional, okay? First of all, that pass into Isak, bit of a heavy touch, but he does so good to sort of lay it off. A little bit prime Bergkamp-like, if I say so myself, okay? Isak, one of the best strikers in the league. I think he's been the best striker in the league this season, other than Haaland, of course. But I feel like, it's always at debate. I think overall Haaland is the better striker, but Isak this season, for me, he is the best. But Isak didn't really do much today. He had a bit of a quiet game, other than that one assist for Sandro Tonali, of course. And then, what was it the second goal? I think it was Harvey Barnes, wasn't it? But it was 1-1, didn't they? Man United did equalise. But, yeah. Garnacho, to be fair to him, he's a decent winger, but he's just inconsistent, like most Premier League wingers in the division, aren't they? It's sort of hard to develop form when most of your team are out of form. Manchester United are like 13th, 14th. They've probably dropped down, haven't they, in the Premier League? So it is hard for Garnacho, but I do rate him a lot, to be honest with you. And I feel like if they get some players in and around him, maybe next season, in that midfield, because I just thought, like, having a midfield two of Eriksen and Ugarte, come on, like, Eriksen, like, they need somebody else in there. Like, why isn't Manu starting? Get Manu on the pitch, man. I'm sure he's way more mobile, and he's way more defensively minded than Eriksen. But I don't know. And again, Man United need a striker, don't they? Like, Sergi, for me, I feel like he is a good player. I think I do agree with me. He's sort of like a 9.5. He's sort of in a cam. He's sort of like a second striker cam rather than the striker. Like, he's not going to get you goals, is he, Sergi? But like, he will assist them. Like, there was that one play in the game for me where what was it? It was a good link-up play between Bruno Fernandes and Sergi. He did like a little spin move, and then there was like a little 1-2, and then Sergi had a shot off, but Nick Pope saved it. So it was easy stuff for Nick Pope today. But yeah, let's get back to Newcastle for a second. I think the man of the match for me was Harvey Barnes. Those two goals sort of just came out of nowhere, didn't they? Like, obviously, like, he hasn't been starting that much this season. He's sort of a squad player for Newcastle. Obviously, Anthony Gordon is the main left winger for Newcastle, but it doesn't harm you having a Harvey Barnes on the bench, does it? He can come on and score you 2 goals like he needed to today. And what a player Harvey Barnes is. Honestly, that first goal where he just sort of run in between all the defenders and just got a shot off and scored, fantastic. And I think the second goal was quite similar as well, wasn't it? In that sort of sense. But yeah, Harvey Barnes is a very good player. And maybe he does deserve to start over Anthony Gordon. Or maybe, I don't want to say it, but why don't you put Harvey Barnes on the right wing? Maybe get rid of Jacob Murphy, because yes, he is Mr. Consistent Jacob Murphy. He's a 7 out of 10 every week. But I feel like when I'm looking at that Newcastle team, I think I think the right winger and the 2 centre-backs are upgradable for me. Now, obviously, Dan Burn and Fabian Schär, fantastic. Dan Burn's rise in football is incredible. Winning the Carabao Cup this season, getting called up for England for the first time, playing his first England match was amazing. But they're both getting on in age, aren't they? You know what I'm saying? So obviously they've got Botman there as well. But for me, Botman is slightly injury prone, so it's a little bit difficult. I think we should look at some of the stats on FootMob, right? If I'm looking to the left, it's because I'm looking at my laptop basically, so I might be doing that quite a lot at the moment. But let me read out some stats for you. Newcastle United have 48% possession compared to Man United's 52. So Man United were dominating the ball, but they just weren't doing anything with it, and I don't know why. You know, I just don't think the attacking players are there. Obviously, they've got Bruno Fernandes. He's their best player by far. But other than that, other than him and Garnacho, they don't have anybody. They've got players to what's it called? You know, feed the ball through to the striker, but to finish the chances, to get the ball in the back of the net, they haven't got a striker. Have they? Hoyland probably isn't good enough at this level. Well, he's still young and he's still developing. I think there's something there with Hoyland. I don't know. He doesn't score enough. Sergi as well. I think I do agree where he sort of isn't. He's a 9.5, isn't he? He's an out and out striker. He did very good for is it Bologna in Serie A obviously last season, but for whatever reason, you know, he's probably a better out wide on that left hand side. And they play like, what is it, 3-4-3 now? So if he was like one of those cams in between the striker, he probably would be better. So okay, let's look at the expected goals for Newcastle. They had 2.09 expected goals compared to Man United's 0.61. Newcastle had 12 total shots compared to Man United's 9. Newcastle had 6 shots on target compared to 5. Big chances, Newcastle had 5 compared to Man United's 1. So yeah, it was all about Newcastle being clinical in this game. They took their chances and they absolutely made sure they would win the game by taking their chances. Harvey Barnes was definitely going to score those 2 shots. There was nothing going to stop him in this game, and that's just how it rolled. That's just how it rolled. You know, Man United didn't really do much other than that Garnacho chance. Really, like Garnacho goal, I can't really think of a standout moment. Garnacho and Zerchi having that one shot against Nick Pope, but he saved it with quite ease. To be fair, it wasn't lucky there for Zerchi, to be honest. It was a decent little shot, decent play. That was probably the best player of the game, to be honest, for Manchester United, like we spoke about earlier. Head to head, let's look at some lineups. Here are the lineups, right? So obviously Harvey Barnes got an 8.9 match rating. You'd probably expect that, wouldn't you? You know, he scored 2 goals. He was the best player of the game. But yeah, who was the next best player? Sandro Tonali, obviously, got the same stat as Bruno Guimaraes. Let's talk about Bruno Guimaraes as well, because I didn't even mention the 4th goal. Bruno Guimaraes, right? This midfield for Newcastle, this trio for Newcastle, they're probably the best trio in the league. I feel like that's a big statement to say, but nobody is stopping them. They've got everything in terms of pace, power, height, driving with the ball. They can strike a ball. They've got midfielders who can score. They've got everything. They can defend as well. Honestly, Newcastle, when we talk about them, will they reach a Champions League spot? I think they're the best. I think they're the best team in place this season to get a top 5 guarantee. I think it's pretty much guaranteed. If they lost it against Man United, they might have a chance to. Another team might have a chance to, you know, beat them to it. But obviously they've got Aston Villa in the next game, which is a very difficult game for any team in the league. So, you know, if you've got to think, you know, if Aston Villa can go there and beat them, then it might open it up a bit more. But I don't know. I still think either way, Newcastle have this Champions League in the bag. And what a great season for Newcastle. If they can go win the Carabao Cup and finish in the Champions League, it must be their best ever season by far, honestly. From not what I can remember. Now, I don't remember the days of Alan Shearer and all these different players back in the day, in the old days, because I'm just not old enough. But don't get me wrong, in my lifetime, this probably is one of the best Newcastle teams. And I just want to end the conversation, end the video off by asking a few questions, really. Will Newcastle finish in a Champions League spot? What will happen to Man United? Do they need a new goalkeeper? Because obviously we didn't even mention the goalkeeper. Obviously this whole Onana situation, what's going on right now, he made a massive mistake in that previous game, didn't he? against Lyon, and that back and forth with Matic was so funny, honestly. What was he doing trying to get in that conversation? Just, keep it a bit humble, right? Like Mikel Arteta said and Haaland said, keep it a bit humble and let your football do the talking, you know what I mean? That's my opinion on it. But yeah, Onana, and then him getting sort of dropped for the game, I should say, for the Turkish goalkeeper. To be honest, I know he conceded 4 goals, but I don't think he was that bad. Like, I feel like if you're stuck with him for the rest of the season, you might do a little bit better. You might finish 10th instead of 14th. I don't know. Okay, so yeah. Do Man United need a new goalkeeper? Who will they sign in the summer? Will Newcastle finish in a Champions League spot? I think it's guaranteed. Honestly, I think Newcastle are one of the standout teams, and they've got a very good opportunity, right, to overtake one of the big 6 teams. But that might be a future video where I might look at 2 or 3 teams that have the potential to overtake a few different teams in the top 6. Because you got the likes of Man United, Spurs, Chelsea. Well, Chelsea are like they're still fighting for the top 6, so they're another team. I think it's between, for me, Newcastle, Villa, and Chelsea, who might get the top 5 position, Champions League position. But yeah, let me know in the comments. It'd be very much appreciated. All the links to my socials are down below. Obviously I've got a Instagram and TikTok page, so go follow them. Thank you for watching, and yeah, see you guys on the next video.